Hi, hello. After so many hours, I finally managed to stream on both platforms, on Twitch and also at the same time on YouTube. In the end, it wasn't very easy to do, as the obvious settings are pretty hard to manage. Hello, is someone here with me? Or am I still lonely here? As you can see in the background, I've got my 3D game. It's also pretty new to me. Okay, so just for information, I let you know that we're both on Twitch and also on the YouTube, as I'm trying out the multi-streaming software. It's from Stream Elements. Oh, yeah, I get the name on the top. Hello. Anyone here? My plan for today is to do some cool stuff inside my new 3D game. As you may or you may not know, I've been working mostly on 2D, and that's my whole experience, based on 2D in Godot. And right now, I finally tried to move out of my comfort zone and start something new. And this new thing for me will be to create a good or at least average game in 3D. Oh, hello. We've got the first message. And I can't pronounce your name. Hello there. Okay, just give me one moment as I'm moving around my head to catch all what's going on different platforms. If it's not going, I don't know, disconnecting and so on and so on. Because I tried to live stream even yesterday, but it blew up. I couldn't manage to connect my YouTube channel to OBS, as OBS started to pop up every possible alert with the YouTube APIs that it won't connect me because, and there was blank. I couldn't manage what the error was. so since around 6 p.m. yesterday, I've been trying to make this thing work, as it's my first stream here on YouTube. Adrian, here, Godot is kinda hard in 3D. Yeah, it is. But I've been working on mostly on 2D, and since Godot 4.4, we've got the Jolt, and that's the new physics engine. And I just wanted to try it out if it's actually any good. I know that for 3D, Unreal or Unity would be maybe a better choice, but 4.4 gave me the courage to finally move up one step and create something in 3D, as most of my games are simply in 2D, and it went kind of boring. So don't expect me to teach you like I did in 2D, as we both will be learning here on my mistakes. Games and sick already had. It's I didn't put a lot of time into this game, to be honest. This looks sick just because I've added some plugins, like, just let me check, it was Terrain 3D. Okay, yeah, this plugin, Terrain 3D. It's great in creating those shapes like you would like to create some mountains, valleys, and so on, so on. I just added the water shader, and I did it about, I don't know, 3 days ago, and also some assets. We're going to swap them today just to update, because me and my partner did some updates to those assets, and those are made by my partner, and I'm very proud of that. Yeah, if I would sum the time that I've spent on this project, it was about, I don't know, 10 hours. If we count one time when I managed to blow my whole project and all the files went corrupt. Yeah, that happened. Okay, and here's the water shader. It will need lots of time to improve, but for now it's okay. And below I've got the rest of my terrain 3D. Okay, so let me just tell you the plan. What my plan is currently in my head. I plan to create some story, and after some time in the game, the water level will drop down and more places will be able to reach for the player. Has the potential to be... I hope so. We all do, because why do we even create games? In my games, I just dream about creating the game that lots of people will be aware of, that lots of people will talk about in the future. Like, I don't know, for example, you could notice that with Five Nights at Freddy's. The game is pretty simple, but people still talk about it even today because there's a rich story, and we can just for now forget about the the many mistakes in the plot and so on, and just enjoy that the legacy of Five Nights at Freddy's is still with us even today. Yeah, we all dream about the game, about creating a game that will be talked in the future generations. And in my case, I before even I started creating games, I was interested in horror games, in horror genre. I've played Outlast, Resident Evil, if we can even call it a horror, Amnesia, what else? Penumbra, from the titles. Oh, my camera is doing weird stuff. It's one of those AI cameras, so I can just make some gestures and it should do crazy things. Or I can do it right now. There are some gestures that, oh yeah, and it's moving. It doesn't have to be that cool like Among Us. Yeah, for sure. Among Us was great, but it was a multiplayer game. And currently, I don't have the courage or knowledge or even free time to spend to create game that will be for multiplayer audiences. And in my case, I prefer to tell. Oh my god. This looks crazy. Yeah, it should be the tunnel, but the texture on it. We will need to update this one. Yeah, Resident Evil is great because there is a path that your character needs to accomplish before reaching some other places. And one of the things that Resident Evil makes the good point of their game is that in Resident Evil, for example, in the second part, in the Resident Evil 2, when you're at the police station, there is not a lot of space to walk. There's the police space, the station is not very good. It's not very big, and the places, it's very narrow. There's not a lot of assets because you don't need to create a open world with hundreds of miles of terrains and assets. You just make one building, and that building is separated in parts, and about 80% of the game is going to happen there. So you don't need to create a whole big place for your player to enjoy. Just simply make it that this place, this building, this area will feel like it should live, if you can understand me. That. Yeah. In general, I like the horror genre. It has been with me since I was very young. Maybe some titles like I'm just trying to remember a few titles that are not very common. Maybe some later in the future. Okay, I need to check if the stream is correct. So on the YouTube, I can see that we talk, but we've got a cool conversation on YouTube, and it's great. On Twitch, it's okay, it's empty for now, but on my OBS, I don't have the chat, and it's weird. Because then, okay, I'll try to. I will need to put some time into it later. I see your point. Yeah. Just as I get older, I enjoy more plot in the game rather than simple gameplay. Like for example, I've played Call of Duty or things like Medal of Honor, Battlefield. The gameplay is great, or maybe the Assassin's Creed, the previous examples, and not the newest one. The gameplay is great, yeah, but the story sometimes is not the greatest for me. And in the horror genre, I can understand what our character that we are currently playing is thinking about, and that's great for me because I enjoy just getting into the story as the main character and doing things that the character needs, rather than simply, okay, get over to that building and shoot 10 guys or bring me back 10 chicken bones or something like that in the MMOs. Yeah, I also played lots of MMOs, like WoW. But I just simply didn't enjoy the newest expansion so much. Okay, this one is very bad, and I don't want to look at it anymore. Okay, my plan for today is to improve something in this game. So rather than just playing around, we'll make something cool. Here is my laboratorium, and this lab was made by my partner, and I'm very grateful for that. But there are some mistakes in it, like for example the door is very narrow and my character is a bit too big for it. And I can get through, but it's very hard to do. So we made them a bit wider, and we'll update that in the future. Also, the terrain 3D will need to do some holes in it, because that's how it's done professionally, and I just learned about it a few days ago. So when you've got your area and you want to place a building inside of this terrain, you need to just wait a minute. Let me find the scene where I've got my terrain. Okay, here it is. And here in terrain 3D. Whoa. I was worried about the crash. Here I've got the hole, and I can just put some holes in it, and then put a building inside of this hole and fill the gaps with other assets, like for example big rocks. Player animations yourself. I use some what in the nowadays is done by ourselves. Even when you create something very simple, you still look around over the internet for that. We just don't remember everything. Even me, who created lots of tutorials about 2D, I still find the need to get back to them and learn something from them, because that's the knowledge hub. And we simply won't be able ever to remember all of those things. If there is anyone who can remember every line of code that will result in the future in something cool, yeah, that's great. Kudos to that person. But most of us won't ever remember half of the stuff we learn every day. Yeah, even my videos on YouTube, they suit the purpose. They are still, for me, the knowledge hub that I can get back if I forget about something. And recently I didn't, what was that line? I just needed to find one line in my videos, and I remembered that I did a video about that, but I couldn't remember what that line was. And I just searched through all of my videos just to find that one line. Okay, let's fill that hole for now. And here my main scene. Okay, we've got this one. There are stairs. And the stairs also should be new. Let me check if I've got the new files, so we'll try to replace it. I know in 3D there's a great way of updating assets. When you connect it with Blender, it should update automatically, but I don't have the knowledge for that yet, so I do it manually. And right now I've got my folder, GLB models, and here should be, okay, just give me one moment, because I've got some warning on my streaming device, and it's not very good. Let me take a look at the stream. It should be here. Okay, I'll get to my channel. Okay, the live stream is on. Great. And I'll mute it for now. Okay, it should be fine. I did it ain't that far. Should I try? It's a pretty wide question, and it's not easy to answer. As the 2D, I also did lots of 2D in Godot for about 2 years. And after that, it was about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I just decided to move up to 3D. And yeah, there are some parts that are very similar, but most of the, or maybe not most, about 50% is different. Like, for example, creating terrains and so on. I was just tired of, in 2D, I was tired of the perspective that our player should visit, what's the word for that? That our player could view the character and that perspective from the top, like, you know, the top-down games, when you look from the clouds on the player, there is a perspective, and it's very hard to make it good, or even the average is hard to achieve, because the player it's a bit of a fake perspective in almost every game. For example, you should view your character from the front, but the camera is pointing from the top. Yeah, I just was tired. I was tired about it, and after a few weeks, I decided to move up to 3D and try something new. Okay, here we are, but let's make something creative today. And in my folder, I should have building lab. Okay, and here it is. Just one moment, because I need to change the name. And I did it in this way, just removing all of those files and putting a new file, and we'll see if it will be any good, if the building will update, and if my files won't get corrupt, because it did happen to me yesterday. Let's save it. Building 1, okay. And it doesn't look like my new asset. Yeah, it looks bad. Or maybe not. Is the entrance bigger? I don't think so. Okay. Also, we'll need to make some glass here. And I just found out how to do it in Godot, as I had some issues in the Blender while doing it. Okay, so here in my main scene, let's just run the game. I'll show you what my current controller looks like. And it won't start because the data is noise. What happened? I don't even have the... Yeah, the output is not doing anything. We don't have anything in the console. Great. So I guess the files are corrupt. Okay, let me close the Godot for now. And... where it is? Let's restart it very quick. And we'll see if